just has tinfoil on it. Interesting. My name's Dylan. I am a filmmaker, I guess. I've made short films, documentaries, music videos. I've done a lot of things. I like filmmaker. I like the title of filmmaker. So today the title of the video is pretty correct. I failed at making my first short film. So it starts back when I was in community college. I decided to pursue film and take some filmmaking classes, learn as much as I can. And one of them was a film production class where we literally would just go out every day, make films. So for the most part, we did group projects, but we never really did like a solo Dylan project. And that wasn't until the final. And the final was going to be a solo project. Up until that point, I had dipped my toes into the film scene. I've made a few things before that. I've helped on productions. I've scoured YouTube and just learning from YouTube for the most part. YouTube is like my film school, essentially. So not a whole lot of experience, but enough to know how to use a camera. I already had a camera at the time that I upgraded from a T3i to a GH5. So I saw the project and I decided to make my own film that was purely my own. I had a documentary that I wanted to make. The documentary was about one of my good friends. He just loved camping. He was just a camping dude. He still loves camping. He just goes out and camps with his brother and it's their thing and it's awesome. We went to Fraser Park, which is a wooded area nearby. So I gathered up 2 other friends and we went camping. Literally it was just a day trip. We got there in the afternoon, set up camp. I recorded all the stuff that I needed. And after that, we spent the night. And in the morning, we hiked around a little bit and then just went back home. And I forgot to get the VO that I wanted to like narrate everything. I was nervous about everything at that point. I was like I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew what I wanted to achieve essentially. I got the VO from him. I just literally sat in this same space that I am in right now. I'm in a garage. I had him just speak into the mic and just answer some questions that I very vaguely wrote down. And he literally just like went away with it. He's a pretty well-spoken guy, so I got lucky. But making that film has definitely paved the way to everything that I'm doing right now. And had I not stuck it out and turned in something that I truly wanted to make, I don't know if I would be in the same position today. So it's a pretty important film. And yeah, so if you want to watch it with me, I'm gonna play it. Tell me your thoughts on the whole thing. But yeah, here we go.
As annoying as it sounds, I can't put a number on how many places I've been to. I just don't know at this point. There will be times where someone will mention a place or something and I just suddenly remember, oh hey, I've been there. It's pretty nice being able to have that problem, I guess. But it's not really that extravagant of trips. Usually it's just backpacking or camping, and mostly in California. I've done all the national parks here. I've been basically everywhere here. My name is Braden Gutierrez. I'm 21 years old. Been traveling and camping mostly for about 8 years now, give or take. Well, I started camping as more of a way to take pictures. Me and my brother got into it about the same time, and we had just watched Into the Wild, and we were both really inspired. But I was more interested in just taking photos of it. I clearly remember telling him that I don't even care about the landscape, I just want to take pictures. And then slowly over time, I just kind of lost interest in the whole art side of it, and I just enjoyed going out, and just being there was more important than taking pictures. And ever since then, I've just been enjoying the ride. The nice thing about camping specifically is that it's just so cheap to start. I had never gone camping in my life until me and my brother got into it. At our first camp, we backpacked up in Fraser Mountain. We went up about 8 miles in. We called it a day there. I remember my pack was so heavy, but I got everything for $300 for that trip. I had won a photo contest, and I took all of the prize money I got from that, and I put it straight into gear. It wasn't until about last year that I even bothered updating it, just because it was really heavy, bulky, and wasn't the best. But you can do any of this very cheaply, very affordably. And the most important thing is being out there. Right now, I'm in school. This is my second time going to college. Hopefully this will be the last time I go to college. My first time didn't go the best. That's when I really started to cling on to camping and traveling more as a way to escape all the mental issues that I had going on at the time. Being someone that has struggled with depression for years, it's hard to find things that'll level you out mentally and emotionally. I've tried just about everything. I even went from drugs to racing cars. It's been a wild ride, but the one thing that I've always been able to do is just go somewhere. It's a nice way to leave everything you are behind you. You get to see this new place, and you essentially get to recreate yourself just for those moments. You get to be who you want to be, who you think you could be, and no one will know. The trees won't judge you. It's just you and who you wish you could be on a daily basis. And it's not just an escape. It's a lot more than that. I don't need to go out to escape myself. I go out to expand myself. No matter how many things I see, no matter how many experiences I have, it doesn't dwarf any of the little things. All these places nearby, it's still great. There's nothing better than just getting in your car, driving an hour, having a good time with your friends, and being in a beautiful place.
I mean, that was it. That's the film. Tell me your thoughts about it, honestly. It was a pretty interesting experience. I learned a lot. I used such minimal gear. It didn't take a whole lot. It didn't take a red and a gimbal. I had an audio recorder. I had a slider at the time too. A tripod, camera. I just had an idea in my head and I literally just went from idea to reality. It wasn't a whole lot in between, which I think a lot of people get stuck. It's literally just shoot it. It was literally all the equipment that I had for the shoot. It was nothing really extravagant. The GH5 is just a workhorse. It's such a great camera. Even today, has so many great specs to it and just so many things that still are great even in today's standards. It's definitely a documentary camera too, like a beginner documentary camera. Just has everything that you need. You know, I shot most of it in slow-mo. Slow-mo combined with IS was just like perfect. Didn't really use the tripod, but it was mostly handheld. For some of the shots, I used a slider as well. It wasn't a very expensive slider. It was great for this shoot, honestly. It's just a carbon fiber, newer slider. It's not motorized. It was kind of difficult on the terrain to have these little legs be like perfectly stabilized, but I mean, I did my best. I put like a ball head as well on top of the slider and put my camera on that. That way I have some like rotation to it and get it kind of perfectly level with everything. This is, yeah, a great little tool that I used and don't really use a whole lot today, but I should incorporate it more often into my projects because it's so versatile. And then audio, like at the time wasn't too knowledgeable in audio, but I knew enough. I knew enough to get a Tascam DR40. It did fine. Like I literally, the way I recorded this, all the sounds that you hear other than the music is recorded with this Tascam. I literally just plopped on my little wind killer. I even got it too close to like a campfire because I wanted to get the campfire noises and I burnt the top of it. But hey, you know, do what we gotta do. I mean, this thing was awesome. I got like all the little sounds. I did like some Foley work too. I did look up a lot of videos on how to use it, obviously, and how to use all the equipment before I went out and decided to go shoot. When I got home, I did the VO on this as well. I literally just plopped it in front of my friend as he talked, read my questions aloud to him, and just stayed perfectly silent. Also had headphones on as well. Always got to monitor your sound. I didn't use anything that was expensive. I just kind of used what was at my disposal at the time. I would do, you know, I would change things around today, obviously. This was like a few years ago, but for what it is, like, I think I did a pretty good job. But knowing that the short films in my class the entire semester have been, you know, narrative and fictional, not real life and not documentaries. I was afraid to ask my professor if that was the case, so I just went with it. And then came the day where we had to present it, and I was literally just leaning back as far as I could and just sweating profusely. Eventually the lights turned down, they show the film. The whole time I'm just thinking, well, it is what it is, but I'm gonna get an F. This isn't what was required, and yeah. So I kind of just expected the worst. But after it was shown, the class clapped for me. Right away, my professor was like, this was great. I loved this, I loved this, I loved this. It was a bit of a shock to me, but other people started saying how much they loved it. It was a stressful experience for sure, but it just goes to show, like, when I first began the project, it was pretty hard to get into filmmaking because, you know, my family was kind of doubtful because I never got the chance to show them what I was capable of. So that film was the showcase. That was the film that kind of got them like, oh, okay, you kind of know what you're doing, actually. And that was really special because it validified my abilities, built a little bit of more confidence as well in my skills and what I could do. And I mean, it got me this as well. Whoop. This was for the best documentary at our student showcase at my college. So, I mean, pretty cool experience overall. The fact that I thought I failed completely and ended up not at all was pretty cool. Definitely a film that I have learned from and continue to learn from. I think it's important to find something that you watch or whatever and find a style that you enjoy and just try it. A lot of this was inspired by other creators that I watched on Vimeo. I watched a lot of Vimeo documentaries. I still do to this day because there's so much creativity and talent on that platform. If you're just starting out, I think it's pretty important to not doubt yourself, just kind of go with the flow. Whatever you're passionate about, just try it. Had I not done it, had I not taken the step to even take the class or to submit that film, I probably wouldn't be doing much of what I'm doing today. It was that influential. So with that said, yeah, go out and shoot your films. There's nothing stopping you except yourself. If you've gotten this far into the video, thanks for watching and have a good day.
You can do any of this very cheaply, very affordably. The most important thing is being out there